frantically tearing at her beautiful long hair, stuffing handfuls of hair, scalp, and blood, still attached, into her mouth as if savoring a delicacy. The splash on his face wasn't rainwater, but his daughter's blood. The director froze, but his first instinct was to rush over and stop his daughter. He grabbed her hands, but she was incredibly strong, almost. She broke free, and thankfully, the doctors and nurses arrived. Under their control, the director's daughter was finally pinned to the bed, but her eyes remained fixed on her father. Hair still clung to her lips, and she mumbled incoherently.
You owe me a debt, and you must pay it back!
Director, I heard you clearly. The doctor bandaged her up, administered another sedative, and bound her hands and feet with a belt. The director and his wife hurriedly asked the doctor about their child's condition.
It is not optimistic. She is experiencing significant emotional instability and is aggressive. Patients like this are rare. She has self-harm tendencies. You'd better send her to a mental hospital for further treatment.
After the doctor finished speaking, he left. The director's wife, upon hearing this, was devastated and fainted. The director, biting his lip, held his wife, trying not to cry out. In the long days that followed, the director and his wife exhausted almost everything they had to treat their daughter's illness. Although it relapsed frequently, she gradually recovered under the influence of her family. Finally, the hospital informed the director that their daughter was completely cured. Nearly 3 years had passed since the day she fell ill when she was discharged. Now that his daughter was cured, the director returned to his teaching position. For the past 3 years, he had frequently taken leave to care for his daughter. He looked much older in an instant, but everyone understood his difficulties and didn't mind. The students loved his classes, so he resumed his dedicated teaching as soon as he returned. Things always seemed to get better. The director thought to himself, even the toughest hurdles can be overcome, but he forgot that not everyone can overcome them. These past few days, the school decided to renovate the offices, but it wasn't possible during working hours. So, during lunch breaks, they had to quickly replace glass or repaint the exterior. These past few days had been incredibly stressful for the director, as he frequently forgot to bring things. As usual, it was a summer afternoon. He hadn't gone home for dinner. His wife had gone to visit relatives in her hometown. It was just the father and daughter at home. His daughter had fully recovered. At least that is what the director thought. He was even considering introducing her to a potential partner. This time, he checked his briefcase and realized he hadn't brought an important set of lecture notes. He had to call his daughter and ask her to bring them, and she agreed. The director's home was very close to the school, so he stood by the office window, waiting for his daughter. Sure enough, his daughter's familiar figure appeared before him, holding something in her hand. It must be his lecture notes. He happily went downstairs. He went to greet his daughter. Upon reaching the bottom of the stairs and about to leave, he suddenly stumbled, as if caught by something, and his body tilted to the side. His daughter, who was about 10 meters in front of him, saw him about to fall and rushed over. He saw his daughter too. They were so close. Meanwhile, upstairs, a glass installer was preparing to insert a pane of glass. He still had one more pane to install. Suddenly everything went black, and the glass in his hand flew straight down towards the doorway. With a loud crash, a pane of glass shattered between the director and his daughter, nearly hitting her on the head. Both were startled. The director fell to the ground, and his daughter rushed over, bending down to help him up. The director reached out, but then a second pane of glass fell, And like Louis XVI being executed by the guillotine, the director's daughter was beheaded right before his eyes. The speed was incredible. The daughter's concerned expression hadn't even faded. Blood gushed onto the director's face like a gushing fountain. He was completely stunned, his body covered in his daughter's blood. The head, just like 7 years ago, fell into his arms. Just like 7 years ago. Just like 7 years ago, it wore a smile. The director vaguely heard a voice in his ear.
You'll have to pay back the debts you owe!
After Teacher Wu finished speaking, I couldn't help but shudder. I don't know if it was because of the dead student, or if it was all just a coincidence.
Ji Yan said, taking another sip of her drink, and then shivered. Is it true? I couldn't help but ask.
Of course, I immediately asked the same question after hearing it. I even suspected that this Teacher Wu was the discipline director. But he immediately grinned. So what if it is true? So what if it is false? Whatever happened is in the past. The discipline director's only thought was to dedicate the rest of his life to doing his educational work well and fulfilling his responsibilities. I looked at his mouth. His teeth were all intact. I didn't think much of it then. Later, I became drowsy for a while, and suddenly dinner was served. I saw Teacher Wu carefully remove his false front teeth and begin to eat slowly. He looked at my surprised expression and slowly said, "Things will pass. Even the hardest hurdles can be overcome."
I also looked at Ji Yan in surprise, the effects of the alcohol seemingly wearing off. Ji Yan sighed again.
If a responsibility is a debt, then the greater the responsibility, the more tiring life becomes.